Oh,
Hello, everyone.
Good
hey, hey,
evening.
hey, good evening.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cousins Corner. All right. I think we are live, ladies. Welcome. All right. So, tonight on Cousins Corner, we are going to be discussing why life insurance is the perfect gift for the holidays. Welcome, cousins.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So, my name is Tamar Bibbs. I am a life and health agent as well as a financial advisor focusing on estate planning. And I also have here tonight with me.
I'm Janelle Lee, and I am a life insurance agent specializing in final expense.
And I'm Michelle Ford, and I am also a life insurance agent, and I do specialize on final expense as well.
All right, awesome. So if you all will like, share, and repost this, because this is going to be a good one tonight, y'all. So if you come in and you're watching this, we ask that you like on it, you comment on it, and you share, because tonight we are going to be discussing why life insurance can be the perfect gift for your loved ones for the holidays. And I know that everyone right now is excited, right? Gifts are a joy to give and receive. But tonight we're going to be talking about why giving life insurance policies can be more meaningful than some of the gifts that we typically give for the holidays. Because we know that insurance policies, they can provide long-term security. They're very unique gifts, unlike some of what we typically seem to get for holidays, which could be, sweaters, slippers, stuff that we eventually probably re-gift, right? Because we don't use it. Even devices, right? We spend all of this money on things, but are they really providing us with long-term value? Are they adding value to us in our lives and in our families' lives? And so life insurance, it offers financial protection. It offers it's a valuable asset and it can increase in value over time. So it's really the gift that keeps on giving. So tonight we are going to be talking about why life insurance is the perfect gift for you to consider for your family. So let's talk about the types of insurance that we can give as gifts. We in our previous post have talked about term life and whole life and universal life, which we haven't really talked about ULIs as much, but we'll go into those just a little bit. But what are some good reasons to consider life insurance, cousins, for gifts?
Mm. Life insurance actually is a really unique way of sharing your love for your loved ones, whether it's you purchasing the policy for yourself, and then letting your family know, hey, at some point when it's my turn, I have a gift of $50,000 or $100,000. So we can ungift that when the time arrives. So just knowing that that peace of mind, they can go to bed and say, well, I didn't get, a brand new car or something that is, I didn't really need. But I did get something called peace of mind. So when I lay down, I can think and reflect differently.
I like that. Peace of
Or
mind.
if something is to happen to me, I know that I'm good.
Absolutely. I was thinking the exact same thing, Tammy. The peace of mind part, life insurance. Most people get, like you said, life insurance give you options. Let's put it that way. Meaning money gives you options, whether or not how you want to bury your loved one. Am I forced because cremation nowadays has become extremely popular, and the number one reason that it's become popular is cost. Everything, we're paying a lot of money just to live, but now we're having to switch gears because every day our number could be called, and now you're paying for death, and that is an immediate expense, a very expensive charge. So life insurance will afford you, again, what she said, peace of mind. You can decide how you want to put your loved one away.
I like that. I like that. Because again, we're talking about a gift that keeps on giving. So when we're talking about insurance, right, we've talked about term insurance. So one of you, if you can go into why term insurance is great from an affordable option for people who are looking to get insurance for their loved ones for the holidays.
Term insurance is a good way to align what is going on in your life for a certain period of time, because most policies are anywhere from I've not saw a 10-year term, but I guess it probably could be a 10, but most of them are like 20, 25 term, and then they term out, meaning exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't cash them in for any type of cash value or whatever. You just have them for a certain time. The benefit in having a term is that it has a high value for a low cost.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And say if you made a purchase and it's your years of raising your children, you have a family, you got a lot going on, or you started a business and you have additional expenses. So you're cutting your cost to ensure if something should happen to me, that they don't lose that business or they don't lose a house or whatever. So you have a high um, a value benefit through term.
Right. And what I would like to just piggyback off of what Janelle's saying about term life insurance, most of us think of term as just in the most inexpensive way. But sometimes if you don't weigh what the need is, you may look at the cost and not realize that's not the best product for you.
Mm-hmm.
So understanding the product itself, that it is there for a period of time, not necessarily the period of your life, because we don't know how long we're going to live. So you're just guessing. So if you're just going off of the amount, you want to understand the product. It is for a period of time.
Yes.
So, knowing that the older you are and the healthier you are, the lower your costs will be. So focusing on your health and the length of time that you need it would be the most important.
Yeah, and I
And
like
that's
some
true.
things that you go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, that's true. Because now, if you're going to purchase term, make sure that you're healthy, because they're not going to put a term policy on you knowing that you smoke cigarettes, you're overweight, all of these things that count against you for term policy. So you do
Mm-hmm.
have to have really good health. So it's more like kind of like your credit score.
Yes.
It's your
Yeah.
health score.
And that's a good topic. One of the things that you guys brought up about term insurance is that it can be used for specific things, right?
Mm.
So, say for instance, if you have a mortgage, right? If you're a couple, you have a mortgage, you can get a term policy against the amount of years that you have left on that policy. So, say for instance, if you're married, and if something was to happen to one or the other spouse, if you have a $350,000 home, you can get a decreasing term policy that as the amount of the mortgage goes down, so will the amount of the term policy, right? So that is an option, because who wants to be left with a huge mortgage after your spouse dies, right? So you can actually get policies for specific things. Another option is that, say, for instance, if you cannot afford a whole life policy now, you can look at a term policy and convert it to a whole life policy later, right? When you're able to afford it. If right now income is not, we know a lot of people are being laid off, and if you don't have the income to fully afford a whole life policy, term is definitely an option for you if you're looking for affordability. Um, and we want people to know that there are options when it comes to insurance and why. So definitely consider term, especially if you have other assets that you want to protect against, like mortgages and things of that sort. Good conversation, ladies. All right, so let's talk about whole life policies, right? Whole life policies, we know that it offers lifelong coverage that becomes an asset over time, right? So when we're talking about really being able to utilize insurance for our benefit, we know that you can borrow from them for future financial needs, and it can be used for a number of things: college tuition, and so let's talk about whole life insurance, the benefits of having whole life insurance, and what whole life insurance can be used for, especially as a gift for family.
Absolutely. Well, the number one reason would be to pay for your funeral.
Mm,
So that's the number one reason.
yes.
But if that's already taken care of, because, like myself, I have more than one policy.
Mm-hmm.
So that money could be used for maybe grief counseling. Professionals, we can go and seek that counseling with this additional money. You can decide whether or not you want to put a person away more lavishly than just the traditional service, kind of add some little extra perks, just to honor that person. Um, you can also divide up little money and leave legacy gifts, to people. It's like if I was able to get 10,000 or 5,000, if you had two or three kids and you split up 50, they would get a nice little lump sum, and it would help them maybe pay off a car note or get credit card debt, caught up as a nice token from that family member as a love token.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just know that, whole life, is something that I learned about later in life, as many people, because insurance can be confusing. However, whole, just think of it as your whole life, your
Mm-hmm.
entire life. So it's to secure that. It's not going to expire. It's not going to decrease in value. Depending on a good policy, it's not going to decrease, but you can increase it if you choose. The only way that it's going to expire would be either you die or if you just stop paying your policy. So the
Mm-hmm.
choice would be yours. It's not going to be something that's going to change. Whereas a term life that we spoke about earlier, it's going to time out or term out, kind of like your school, school term. You have 4 terms and one ended and then the next one begins. Well, whole life is going to be there permanently. So therefore, you can utilize it by, like you said, first of all, it's the main purpose is to cover your, in the once you die. The
Mm-hmm.
second benefit is to secure those that are left behind, like you might leave a spouse or you
Right.
might leave children, you might even leave your dogs in good standings. You don't want their life to change because they suffer. Going from one income to, going from multiple incomes to one income. So if realize that I can't afford, there's no way that I can afford my home or no way I can afford the lifestyle that I have if I lose this person.
Right.
Putting your head in the sand is not going to make it any different.
Right.
So, preventing, putting a plan in place early is a great uh, gift that, it keeps giving even after, it still keeps giving you a hug after that person is gone. This past weekend, was Thanksgiving, and I'm certainly hoping that everybody had a great time. And I know there's going to be people that lost someone and their time was different from others, but for the most part there's many of us that hopefully just eating wasn't just what we done, but being there with family and giving those remembering those that are no longer with us. My dad, we just recently lost my dad this year. And my dad, as most of you know, he loves fishing. And we always have a fish fry on one of the days when we are together for holidays. It don't matter what holiday, we always have fish, fresh fish. Well,
Mhm.
my dad had fished, so much, and of course they always stock the freezer. But the thing that made us feel good was my dad still left enough. He had filleted enough fish, fresh fish, and we got to
Mm.
eat. So it was almost like he was preparing those meals for us.
Mm.
He was still there and we still got to enjoy it. Now it's going to be our last year of enjoying it, but it still was that one last gift that reached out and gave you a hug, showing his character. So show
Wow.
your character, a whole life policy can extend your character beyond your life.
And let me tell y'all something. Uncle Kennedy loved fishing. Okay. So I think that was very, unique in how you all were able to celebrate the holidays is by still going in their freezer, pulling out a bag or two of fish and knowing that you guys were getting that, like you said, that last hug from him, that last, hey y'all,
Mhm.
I did this for y'all before that.
Yes, I'm still here.
Enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
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 I think that is
Yes.
such a
His
beautiful
work was
thing.
still here. We first Thanksgiving without him, but
He was
we
still
could go
there.
back and think, yeah, he still
Yeah.
left love for us. So that was
Wow.
great.
That is beautiful. So when we talk about one of the things that I want to kind of segue real quick in talking about getting life insurance as a gift is that you have to have an insurable interest in purchasing these life insurance policies for people. And an insurable interest means that there is a connection to you. There's a way that this person is involved in your life, or vice versa. So you cannot just go and find a random person and say, hey, let me buy you a life insurance policy. So typically, when we're talking about insurable interest, let's just talk about that, right? So insurable interest as in our employers, our family members, our friends. So let's talk about what that is and why that's going to make a difference in you being able to give this as a gift for the holidays.
Well,
So
go ahead, Janelle.
okay, I'm just gonna play off a little something. You have a baby daddy that owe you some child support. Uh
Listen,
and
okay.
you can insure baby daddy.
And you should
Yes,
Hmm.
insure because you have insurable interests, which are your
absolutely.
children. So if something happens to him, you're no longer receiving that income. So you
That
should
is correct.
definitely insure.
You know, any job that you go to, we call it a good job.
Mhm.
uh, they have benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those benefits generally is a life insurance. And it is a term life. Most people don't know that your employer, they insure you with a term life because they know they're going to have you for a short period of time. So they're able to insure you with a higher amount for lower dollars based off of the calculation of people that work there.
Mm-hmm.
They also, insure because it's a benefit for them. This insurance covers, can cover for employers. It will, ensure that once you are gone, they can cash that policy in. You may never know about it. Your family may never know about it, but that ensures them that they can cover what your salary was for a period of time. So they can cash in for that. But they also open up another another job opening. And usually there's tons of people who apply for your position. So it's not like they're going to be without, so it's a choice.
Right,
They have choices. We should have options.
right. And one of the things that you talked about, especially
But
with
in,
employers. Mhm.
yeah, go ahead. You were
Oh,
saying?
yeah. So one of the things you was talking about, especially with employers, is they bank on your family not knowing that you still have life insurance policies with them, especially if you do not put a beneficiary down
Mm.
on your policies, right? And that's why it's so important to have insurance outside of your employer. Because if you are no longer employed by them, if you were banking on that being what your family was going to receive if you were to suddenly no longer be here, you're doing your family a big disservice because the company that you're with, they do not pay out right away. You're going to have to go through a lot of human resource red tape, right? And so now you're looking at a delay in your family being able to have access to money that you were thinking that they would get right away because you are no longer here. And typically those insurance policies can start anywhere from 10,000 up to the amount of income that you currently have with that agency or with that employer.
Hmm.
So you're worth more than that. Like they're only going to give you what your salary in most cases is. Think about that. That's how much
Mm.
they think about it.
Yeah.
What we're saying is we want you to think more about yourself than your employers, and we want you to think about your family and how you want them to remember you and not have to go through a lot of human resources red tape.
Right.
Absolutely. So another interest would be like if you have a family member, I insured a gentleman, he had an uncle that apparently the uncle and aunt had bad credit and they were trying to put their daughter through college, which was his first cousin. And so he co-signed to at that time his favorite uncle, who later became his not so favorite uncle anymore because he didn't honor his word and pay him back. So he placed the insurance policy, spoke to his uncle and said, "Hey, they're getting up in age." Now he done went out and got prostate cancer, but he had, thank goodness, been cleared for about 5 years or so. So he was able to insure his uncle on a policy for the amount that his uncle owed him. So that part, he's having to pay it, but at least he was able to get money for that if something should happen, because his
Mm-hmm.
uncle is hasn't so far paid him back. And his uncle was in agreement with that too. So you can also insure your business partners or
Hmm.
somebody who owes a huge debt to you. So there that is considered a insurable interest.
Let me tell you something about collaterals. Because that's basically what you've now done is because that person owes you money, you're now using them as a collateral to be able to collect upon their death.
That's the good one.
Yep.
I
It's
mean,
making me think. I think about people that owe me some money right about now.
yes, you
Maybe I
have an
need to get
insurable
some more
interest,
policies.
right?
Uh-huh.
Exactly. But I mean, when you think
Yeah.
about it, you're literally, especially if you are a business owner, if you are in business and you have a business
Hmm.
partner and you do not have a key person policy on each other, I call
Hmm.
us, call me because we need to talk about that. That is very important. You want to have a key person policy because if something happens to your business partner, where is that additional revenue going to come until you find a new partner and or whatever your business succession plan is, which I hope you have one. Okay.
Right.
So let's
Yeah.
talk about, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just thinking because, that'll leave you in a really bad, you have a great idea, you go into business with somebody, you have every intention on, keeping your word. But when the business goes south, the first thing you're going to do is secure your own personal life first. And you're
Mm-hmm.
thinking, I'll get to them. My intentions is to get to them. But when push time comes to shove, you don't have it. So insurable insurance is definitely important. And it is something that you can save a marriage, save a friendship, that you could save a lot of things just
Mm-hmm.
having the money there in place
Right.
for just a few dollars a month. I mean,
It don't cost that much, I promise you. If we sit down and actually looked at a budget, because when I'm working with clients and I'm working with them on their financial wellness plans, I find money. I can find it. A lot of times we just have to get out of the habit of thinking certain things we have to have because, when we get serious about financial wellness, when we get serious about, longevity, livelihood, and legacy, a lot of the things that we think are things that we have to maintain our lifestyle, we realize that, you know, is it really maintaining a lifestyle or is it just keeping you further in debt? So we can help you
Absolutely.
find the money. A lot of times we just don't want to sit down and look at what it would take um, to find the money, right? And a lot of us don't want to know our numbers, which we should. You
Mhm.
should know how much it costs you every month to live. And in that, what exactly are you spending it on? Are you spending it on subscriptions? Are you spending it on, um, you know,
Starbucks.
right? Things that you don't need to that
Mhm.
money could be diverted into other places. Because Starbucks has already got their money. They're already rich.
Oh yeah, with $8 a day, I promise you, you can pay for one of the highest expensive policies if
Right.
you did one coffee a day. But I'm sure
One
most
company.
people really are Starbucks addicts are doing more than that.
Right.
Mm.
Right. If
I'm
we
looking
sit
at
down,
like if I had 25 days out of the month, it's $200. If I spent $8 a day for 25 days, that's
mm,
$200.
Wow,
and
that's a
most of
lot.
us spend, most people spend that much, especially if we're not being budget conscious or financial or thinking about our financial wellness. And these are definitely topics that we're going to be discussing later, especially when we talk about retirement planning and strategies and estate planning, because all of this ties in together, right? We're looking at legacy and longevity, and we want to make sure that the gifts that we're giving ties into that, right? I want to leave a legacy, not just for my husband and for my children, but for my nieces and nephews, right? For my family, I want legacy. I want to be able to say, this is a scholarship that I started, and now all of my, great nieces and nephews are now benefiting from a scholarship that I've put in place, or things of that sort. So when we talk about legacy, these are all things that go into establishing our legacy and establishing
Mm.
the reason why we're giving these gifts to our family, because we want somebody in generations to come to be able to say, you know what, I listened to Cousin's Corner, and because of what my family member did then, I'm able to live off of those benefits 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 50 years from now. That's legacy. And
That
that's
is
Absolutely.
legacy.
what
Absolutely.
we're
And
trying
and you
to
know what? That's a really good thing because I know that a lot of times we may not think about, sharing something that would help somebody else, extend beyond yourself, leaving a legacy, having like something that kids could apply for, when they're in school or in college. It may be even $100. Because I mean, I've seen where you apply for, grants that is $100, $300, um with your name on it. You need leaving it in your name. Somebody's like, wow, I don't even know who this person is, but whoever this person is, I got $300, and I was able to buy groceries, or I was able to buy my laptop that I needed for studies. But it's available every year, and somebody's like, oh, it's easy to get it. Those are great ways to continue a life legacy. Whether it's just for your family, you might just gift
hmm
it to just your family.
right.
Every year they go to college, you gift it to some people in your family and they all can apply and get it.
Yep. Yes.
So those
I
are
think
great ways, that would be a nice gesture to your family.
so. Let's
Your
talk
name
about,
would live on. That is great. A nice philanthropic way to
yes.
let your life live on. It's like I had a rich auntie, Tamar Morgan Bibbs, and she left me this, and now my grandkids are still living off of,
Mhm.
still applying for this loan or this grant. That would be an amazing way to kind of like stretch out some money over the years.
Right. It's a very unselfish way,
Hmm.
really showing the love that you say you have for your family. So, those are easy ways to do it.
So coincidentally, Janelle, thank you, because that's literally what I'm doing is tapping into my philanthropic endeavors. I do have a lot of philanthropic goals, and one of them is to be able to leave legacy to who's coming behind me, and for them to have that exact comment, my rich auntie.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just saying. Y'all want the crown for y'all's funeral. I want the title.
Yeah.
I like that. I
I
like that.
have shirts that say I got a rich auntie and I'm a trust.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Just saying.
That's part of that trust that you were talking about getting set up. So your money is
Yes.
being directed in a certain way. And during the time that it's sitting and waiting on the next winner of your scholarship is
Mhm.
earning its interest.
Wow. For the
It's
next
working.
building value, still
Yes.
building
Still building.
value.
Yes. So let's talk
Just that
about,
gift that keeps on giving, she said earlier.
right? So let's talk about some ways to gift an insurance policy. One would be, of course, to buy a new policy. If you want to purchase a policy for a loved one, so a lot of people right now are struggling, right? We are always having new babies born into our families. We always are having family members that are getting married. We all have, people who have lost a job, things of that nature, right? So if you currently know somebody in your family and you have the extra income, why not use that as a gift to give them, right? Um, because you never know what that can do for them, especially if they're just getting started. We know new babies, most families, they're still trying to figure out how to get acclimated to be getting acclimated to being new parents. And for some, the unfortunate thing that can happen is babies do die, right? And most people still do not have $8,000 to $10,000 to bury an infant, right? So we want to start getting policies for our babies as soon as I think it's 7 days old, right? That we can
Yeah,
start getting
30.
insurance on them. So get it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
going to be the cheapest. Hello? That's when you can get it the cheapest. Okay.
Yes, you can.
I mean, when we talk about giving gifts, get them a whole life policy that by the time they turn 50 years old, they are millionaires.
And that policy is already paid off, and you can actually borrow from it. They can go off to school,
Yes,
or if they choose to get married or choose to get married, they have money. There's a lot of options at that point because you've paid that policy off now.
right.
You built, it has built, some value in it to where you can borrow from it.
So you can also transfer an existing policy. So if you have a policy that is currently in place, you can work with your agent or work with us to update the beneficiaries to suit your family changes or to convert a term life to a whole life policy, right? So again, you want to frequently go in to see if the beneficiary that you have is still the beneficiary that you want to keep on your policies. If
So
not, get
true.
them updated. You can
Yes.
also fund an existing policy. So if you have a family member that's having a problem, like we mentioned earlier, paying their premiums, talk to them about you becoming the owner of that policy. And then you help them pay that policy so that we can continue to make sure that even if they're unable to pay that policy, somebody is helping them to continue to pay that policy. That's how you give.
Yes.
That's how you give. Any other
That's
suggestions?
some, yeah. That's giving that matters
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
versus some fuzzy socks and wasted money. So
And then regifting those things next year.
yes,
Well,
because they really don't want it. It's just yeah, it's a waste of money.
right, right. So, in wrapping up, let's talk about the gifting process, right? What are some things that we can do in the gifting process? So, there's a couple of things that you can do as a guide for gifting. One is do your research, right? So, in doing research, what are some things that you all would recommend for researching?
Uh-oh, don't know what that was.
Oh, it was my phone going off. What are some things that you all would recommend for
Is that
research?
your time? Oh,
Yeah,
uh,
they calling.
For researching,
you know what? I'm not gonna lie, but most people go to Google anyway, so why not mention Google? It has some good advice, but you do have to be careful and know you need to cross-reference because sometimes, we don't know who the author of the Google information may have come from. So you just making
Yes.
sure that it is credible. But there's a lot of credible information. So most of us have a laptop or a phone in our hands. Go to Google.
Yep,
Just
that's a
Google it,
good
like
one.
they say.
That's a good one. All right. So number two would be to choose to decide the best coverage and the amount that you want to give. Janelle, what is your feedback on that?
well, I would personally contact someone like myself, someone like Tamar, who are professionals at what they do and get advice from them. It's free to get a quote and talk to someone. And yes, so that's my advice is talk to someone who's already an expert in that field.
Right. Because most of the time you've already been looking, you need insurance, you need a coverage, your family members need a coverage, or there's been some changes, that you need to have it reviewed, what you currently have. So reaching out to a professional who is licensed, uh, who can assist you with navigating that, reach out to us. We're those professionals. That's our duties. And we, want to make sure that you're fitted with the proper plan, the proper policies.
So that actually tied into number three, which is consult, right? Find you a professional that can work with you, that you can discuss your budget with, that can help to answer any questions as it relates to policy options. So the number four would be to give your loved one a lasting gift of peace of mind. You can even make it a special gift by placing it in a box with a bow, right? So don't just say, here, I got you a life insurance policy. Make it a really important event. Tell them what they're getting. Tell them why you're giving that to them. And then discuss with them the benefits of what they're receiving. Because a lot of times, you give someone an insurance policy, they really don't know what it's about until you explain that to them. So, any thoughts on that part, explaining the gift?
Yes, understanding the value. So, sharing with your loved ones or, talking with a professional and making sure that you have time set aside, saying it's more than just a quote. Oh, can you just give me a quote? No, you're not giving yourself the value. You're valuable. So set aside some time to actually think about real things that we need to discuss. Nobody wants to talk about death, no. But rushing the conversation is not going to help you understand the value.
Mm.
Well, if we understand the value of a car insurance, cell phone insurance, it's not that complicated. That your life and who you are is much more important and uh, valuable than your cell phone or your car or your house. So insure yourself. And it's also a gift when you insure yourself, you have opportunity to put beneficiaries on your policy that money is directed to. So that's a gift in itself. So Tammy, when my policy comes in, senior life from any policy for that matter, they come in a nice little package, already packaged up with that person's name on it. So if they had a copy, because you can always print those out as many copies as you want and give it to those actual beneficiaries so that not only is that policy at your home, it's also in the homes of the beneficiaries.
Mm.
So that in itself is a gift that you can wrap it up in a nice little bow or whatever. If something should happen to me, this you are my beneficiary.
Yes, I love it.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, in wrapping up, ladies, because this has been a very good conversation, I've enjoyed this one. I think this is probably one of my favorite because I don't think too often we talk about giving this as a gift, right? We always talk about what the person, of course, is going to receive, but how can we as a community now get our friends and families a peace of mind?
Mhm.
And so life insurance is unique in that, you know, it can show a person that you care for years to come, right? And if you want to make sure that your family's future well-being and their happiness um, is in place, giving the gift of peace of mind is just that, right? Is you being able to help your family understand that even though I may not still be here, I'm still leaving you something that's going to benefit you for years to come. And then also teaching our family how to steward those gifts that we give them. So we'll definitely be talking about that in future conversations, right? Because, you know, you give me a gift of 100K. Some people, you know, giving a gift of 100K, some people may go out and blow that gift, but we want to also explain how to be good stewards of those gifts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, like you said, a gift is something that it's a responsibility. And I think that, understanding what the word gift
Mm,
means that you are the steward of, or you're very your life, which is irreplaceable. So just
mm,
sharing and understanding what the gift really is, and
yeah.
understanding just what gifts are, whether it's a talent, whether it's something
Mm,
that you earned, but you are now gifting it to someone else is very valuable. So just understanding the value that you have in your hand, not just the cash.
very good point. Very good point. Very good point. Janelle, any closing thoughts along those lines?
That was just piggybacking off of what she said. That is actual a gift is actually a sacrifice. It's something that somebody has paid forward to you. It's nothing like back, and they need to bring it back more. Is when you get in the line at Starbucks or McDonald's or wherever, and somebody ahead of you've already paid for the car behind. And that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what we're doing when we do put a policy out on ourselves. We're paying it forward. So the
Mhm.
people that's left behind can get that gift, and just how good that feels just for somebody to pay for my $12 burger and drink and fries. It's like, whoa, that's nice. So that's just one of those wonderful feelings that people can, in their grief, feel a huge amount of love. So just pay it
Mm-hmm.
forward. That's
I
my
love that.
my parting words, just paying it forward.
I love that. Pay it forward. Ladies, this has been another great conversation tonight. I am excited to be able to do this with you both because I think that in our efforts to inform our community and our efforts to inform our family and in our efforts to inform our friends, um, I think that we have been given a very unique task and opportunity, and I think we're doing a pretty good job with it. So,
I would say so. I would say
yeah,
so. It has so far shown to be beneficial,
yes, yes,
and I'm glad to bring awareness and be a part of it.
Right.
yes.
And making it normal, normalizing the conversation.
Mhm.
Um, because, these holidays is, like I said, is not going to be nice for others
No.
because, somebody's going to lose someone.
Hmm.
So, just knowing that this is something that we have to normalize and giving a gift it's that time of the season. It's always nice to give a gift no matter what season it is, but especially in this season, it's the giving season.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Well, ladies, that was all we have for tonight. Thank you all for those of you who have joined. Be sure to like and share this with somebody
Sure.
that you feel can benefit from this conversation. Or if you are the person who wants to give the gift of life insurance to your friends, families, or any other insurable interest, reach out to one of us. We will definitely be able to help you and assist you with that. We do not want to go into 2026 unprepared. We don't want to do that.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. That is so true.
we don't want to do that. We're waiting. And so this is a great reason and season to be able to do something different. So if you have new grandbabies, new cousins, new family members, excellent
Get
gift.
it,
Business partners, baby daddies.
getting married and getting the divorce.
New
You
family
still want to
members.
think about it when you get into the divorce. It's time to
Mhm.
review.
Yes. Yes.
It's time to review what you have.
You get a divorce,
Exactly.
change your beneficiary, but they're still your baby daddy. So it's insurable interest no matter what.
That is true.
Yes. And if those grandchildren are getting older and getting ready to go to college, this is definitely the time that you want to make sure that you have a policy in place for them and or get a policy extend the coverage. So again, this has been
Yeah.
another video of Welcome to Cousins Corner. And again, if you want to discuss how to give this gift for your loved ones, just reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help you moving forward. Mwah! Love you.
Yes. Thank you. Bye. Love you too.